The last video ended when I removed those two stock electric seats from this flooded 2008 Cayman, and this is where I'm at right now. I stripped almost entire interior from the car, A-pillars, C-pillars, even the roof liner. And the reason for that, actually, initially I wanted to replace again the whole wiring completely, and I couldn't find the wiring from the same exact optioned vehicle, because the wiring is specific for the car. And for example, you have basic stereo system, it's one wiring. You got like both stereo system is different wiring. You got the memory seats, different wiring. Automatic transmission, manual transmission, different wiring, because like different sensor, let's say for the clutch pedal, for this manual car, and for the brake pedal when it's automatic, it's all different. Again, like the, for example, interior mirror, a regular or with the automatic dimming, and so on and so and so on. So I couldn't find the exact optioned donor car or wiring from donor car, so I purchased the one that was available online. This is the wiring, and what I am doing, I am replacing the broken sections of the wiring. That means for example, that's the like a donor wiring. I do not want to cut it here and kind of splice it, somewhere here. I would like to replace the entire wire that goes, somewhere inside, the other modules in the car. So what I did, I traced the affected wires in this replacement harness. I have printed the, like for example, this is the rear control module. I printed the contact in the connector in the rear control module, and I traced it where it goes to another module in the car or splice somewhere. So this is the whole list of the wires, for example, just for the rear control module. This is the list of the wires that goes inside the fuse box, because I would like to replace the wires in the fuse box as well. And I also printed the diagram, and so this is the diagram just for the splices, because a lot of wires from, let's say, from the rear control module doesn't go directly into another module. It goes to the wire splice, for example, like this. So this is where like many wires meet each other. It's kind of sealed, and so this is the splice, and this is the table for all the splices that are in the car. And for example, just let's take the very top one, the splice by the ground box, by the glove box, and this is 6 cm for the left hand drive car, 6 cm. And there is the map of the car, and we know that the 6 cm gonna be in this area of the car right here, and when we look on from the top of the car, it's gonna be here. So we know exactly where in the car and what height in the car. So it's like a three-dimensional map of the car, and each of those splices has its designated spot, and this map allows me to much quicker find the splice if I needed to. Some of them, let's say, some of the wires goes in a bulk, let's say from the rear control module. It goes all the way to the trunk and they connect to the same connector, which is pretty easy. I didn't even mark those wires because they are all different color, and it's gonna be easier for me to put them back, let's say in the connector, like where's the connector, like this. So another thing, it's a challenge to depin the wires from the connector. I have like those depinning tools from Amazon. Those works kinda, but it's just it's not complete set of tools that require. For example, this connector requires the round depinning tools like those, but my set it had either too big or too small those round tools, so it was really hard for me to use this. What I actually end up doing initially, I made a cut right here and I make it slightly bigger, and I used it more or less successfully to depin the majority of the wiring from the connector. But then I decided it's not worth it to struggle, and I purchased this whole depinning kit. It's got almost everything that I need for this job. It's got those round depinning tools, for example, like this, and it's not only just a tool, there is like it's kind of spring loaded, which makes the depinning much more easier, and I got the exact size for the connector like that. And I will put a link somewhere in the description of this video. This tool is very reasonably priced. It's sad I didn't get it earlier because that's not the first time I was struggling with the depinning. Remember the white Cayman, not Cayman, Cayman, when we also replaced the part of the wiring. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So I was mapping those wires everywhere, and I put all the wires. I put the kind of those little notes specifying where this wire is going. And for example, this is huge splice by the fuse box. So brake pedal switch, pin 25 on a gray connector, the BCM module, and not used. And I know I checked this wire why it's not used. It's for the heated seats, and I do not have the heated seats. And but again, I marked them all. The only connector that gave me the real fight, and I still don't know how to properly depin it, is this kind of the connector. I don't know, it's used for a relay like this. It's just a very generic relay. I can depin the bigger contacts, but it's a pain to depin those three little contacts that are right here. I don't know why. I used the tools I thought that should work just fine for this one, and it does not come out. So for example, on this one, what I'm gonna do, I depin the wires that I could, and I will transfer this entire connector to my fuse box, because I cannot depin those two little wires. So yeah, I will be moving the entire connector right there. Plus I'm going to be moving the entire connectors for the C, D and E fuse rows. I will be tracing those wires. A lot of them gonna go to the main power distribution box, which is hidden behind the HVAC box. It's a challenge to get to it, but I think I'll be able to. There is one kind of how you want to call it, one clip behind the HVAC box, and it's got the majority of those power wires that goes to the either to the relays or to the fuse holders. So, and I only need C, D, and E fuse holders, because A and B are still fine in the car. They don't need to be replaced. The water didn't get to them. So that's the story. I'm gonna continue to trace whatever left for me to trace. For example, this one is pretty much almost done. And for example, some of the wires are going to the front end of the car inside the front, and I cannot get to them because they are going through those like a rubber, sealed rubber, grommets, if you wish, and I cannot depin the wire from here and kind of fish it out from here. It's solid, and here it's impossible to take it out. So those I will splice and solder in the car. That's it so far. Probably gonna shoot something once I'll prepare the entire harness to be transplanted, at least the parts that I need, and we'll go from there. I was praising this set of depinning tool, and for example, this is the type, like the round type for the connector like this, which is a female. So how it works is let's try this one, the small one. I am inserting the tool right in here, make sure it goes all the way, and then I pretty much press on the tool. There is like a spring-loaded push thingy, and the connector simply flies out from the the contact flies out from the connector. It's very convenient. However, the male part, on the contrary, has the same exact style of the locking mechanism, but the problem is I cannot get a hold of the pin, because this like center push thingy is too kind of shallow in this hole, and I simply can't reach with the tool until the point it has those kind of little locks around. So this tool cannot be used for the male part, despite the overall idea is exactly the same. Slowly but surely I am moving forward. I cleaned this the left, like driver's side part of the cabin out from the residuals from salt water. I removed those fuse receptacles from the bracket, and I'm getting ready to start the installation of the wiring that I just got from the donor wiring. I also went ahead a little bit further, and I removed the HVAC box, which is right here. Did it for two reasons. The first reason is gonna help me to get to the wiring behind the box. It was possible even with the box installed. It was tight, but right now I have all the place and space I need to get to those wiring going to this main power distribution box, which is typically located behind the HVAC box. Plus As a lot of you guys know, those HVAC boxes flaps are prone to have the foam separated from the flaps, like a styrofoam, and then you see the foam in your vents flying right at you when you have the, let's say, the AC on full blast, for example. You see like the parts of foam pretty much flying from the vents. So I'm gonna later on, not now, but later on, I'm gonna open this box. I'm gonna split it into halves, and I'm gonna put some kind of tape, I don't know yet what exactly, instead of the foam that is missing, because without the foam it cannot properly blend the air, it cannot control the, I don't know, it cannot control the mixture of the air, and it cannot control like where the air is blowing from. This is a couple weeks later. I if you wish completed the wiring job. That means for example, this loom for the rear control module, as well as the, let's say, those grounds, as well as the, what was that, the seat, wiring for the seat, for the airbag, all of that is disconnected from the car. I can pretty much safely cut the whole thing right from here, because I have the new wiring already in place instead. So this wiring, the new one, is already connected to the corresponding spots where this wiring was connected previously. I started to button up the harness on the driver's side, so that's how it looks like right now. And I actually ended up removing those extra, bunch of wires that been unused, and so I removed them completely up to the either the front fuse box or up to the rear control module, depending where they were going. And so they had this old appendix with the same wiring, so it's no longer here. There are no any cut wires, because I pulled all of them, and I am trying to slowly kind of massage the wires right here. And for example, this is the new harness right here. It's kind of supposed to go inside this channel along with those wires, but I do not want to remove this part of the wiring. It's very fat, and it's gonna be super hard for me to remove them and then to pack them back. Therefore, I decided to leave them on a side. It should not interfere with anything else. And I also started to go back throughout the this upper side of the wiring. So this is the new harness. Some of the wires are going again to the distribution box, and as you can see, there are no wiring hanging anymore. So yes, I packed the wiring for the what was it, the body control module, which is here, the relay box or relay plate, I would say. So it seems to be everything kind of laying down on its places. So this is gonna go here. I'm gonna put some more loom tape to continue, because it looks pretty nice actually. It doesn't look bad at all. And in terms of the passenger side, I still need to remove the old, I guess that's the old harness. I'm gonna cut it somewhere, and I'm gonna pull those wires, I guess, up to this point somewhere. because I kind of don't want to go inside there. There is no sense to. And that's it pretty much. This new wiring already here. That's the new ground wires. The very last wire I need to hook up is this ground wire, and the original factory splice is somewhere, I don't know, I don't recall, somewhere in this area. So I'm gonna have to remove the tape and find this splice and connect this wire to the splice. Don't recall where was it, to be honest. It's been quite a while. Maybe somewhere here. It looks like there is something right here. I can feel. So yeah, there is definitely splice. Let's check the length. Yes, looks like it's about. Yes, that's about the correct spot. So yeah, I think it's gonna be the opportunity for me to demonstrate how this splice tool is working, and it helped me a lot during this wiring repair business. Okay, let's get to work. Just I need to make sure I am cutting the old wiring. So I'm gonna remove all this. I'm gonna undo this kind of loom. Not gonna be very easy, but I'm gonna go from the front to the back actually. So. And actually this old loom is actually really good. It's still very sticky, and I'm gonna reuse it, at some portions of the wiring. I like it better than the let's say looms from Amazon that sticks actually pretty bad. So this 20, maybe not 20, like 16-year-old tape, the harness tape is actually much better than the new tape from Amazon. Yeah, a lot of products on Amazon actually sucked big time. So as I can see, so this is the wire. It's kind of easy to find because only 3 wires are going from here. 2 are fairly fat, and this one is the most thinnest wire. I'm gonna actually cut it somewhere here to have some extra, and I'm gonna leave it alone, and it's gonna be meant to connect with this wire. So I'm gonna probably group them together somehow. And so the rest stuff I'm gonna cut it again, making sure that's the correct. So there is no way back. Cut. Okay, and that's a souvenir. And now I will undo some of that loom, and I will try to actually let me check. Maybe I can try to pull from here. Let's say we have a fat orange wire. That's the fat orange wire. There you go. All right, and that's how I done it on the other side, one by one. So I have violet and brown. Violet and brown. There we go. I need a pick because it's kind of hard for me to grab them. brown. Then I got gray black and red black. Gray black and red black. I think that's the one. Is it the one? No? Pull it. Okay, let's play with another one. What about this guy? Then we have yellow and black, and this is the data lines. Can low and can high. And doesn't want to. What we have here as well. Fat red wire. Okay. Fat red wire. Yellow with black stripe. Yellow with black stripe. A red with blue stripe. And a bunch of brown wires. And that's a little more tricky. Same color. And a few of them are the same fatness, I would say. Let me see. Maybe I can pull from here. Okay, found it. And maybe I can pull from here. Okay, found it. And maybe I can pull here. And that's pretty much it, except this mysterious. Okay, now it goes. All right, so that's the bunch of wires. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna track them down a little further, and then I'll come back to you guys. All right, guys, let me demonstrate you how this crimping tool works. Okay, let me remove the insulation, probably, I guess, around 1 centimeter, maybe slightly more. From one, from the second. So I got 2 wires right here. So what I'm gonna do, I will take one of those, let me check which one gonna be better, this one or not. Yep, this one pretty good for 2 wires. So I inserted this, how they call, ferrule or ferrule, I don't know, on those 2 wires. I'm taking this crimping tool and simply squeeze it all the way, and it's done. And that thing doesn't go anywhere. And from that point I can either use the heat shrink, or I will use I'm probably gonna be that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put some dielectric grease on here, and I'm gonna put a heat shrink on the top. So dielectric grease will not allow those wires to contact with the air, and thus is gonna prevent the oxidation of the said of the said wires, and I'm gonna put like I'm gonna put the heat shrink on the top. Very easy. So absolutely great tool. And you know, a lot of people says that it's not good to do the soldering or like solder wire together in a car application because of the vibration may crack the solder. I never had this problem, so I'm not sure if it's like a gossips or not, but again, this one won't go anywhere, and it can crimp quite a fat wires together. I guess that's the fattest one. It's probably like around 4 millimeters in diameter or so. This one is even bigger. It's like 5 millimeters, maybe. Yeah, around 5 millimeters. So yeah, I'm gonna leave the link for this tool in the description. I found it very useful in my project, and let's continue. Okay, a little bit of dielectric grease right on the top right here. It's the same grease I'm using when I'm replacing the spark plugs, to put a little dab inside the boots that goes over the spark plugs. Alright, and now I'm gonna simply heat shrink that thing, and I'm gonna tape it. And just like that, hour by hour, inch by inch, making the wiring great again. Sometimes I'm thinking that I probably should have upgrade this car to the Bose sound system, because the replacement wiring I bought for it, the only difference was the Bose system. Everything else was exactly the same in regards to the options, and if it was the complete wiring, I would have changed it or replaced it like weeks ago. And since I decided to stick with the same original basic sound system, that's what I'm paying for with my time. Hopefully it's gonna be worth it. Hopefully I'll be able to enjoy this car, and assuming it drives really nice, how it's technically supposed to be in a 15,000 miles example. I'm kind of planning to keep this one for a while. The ones who've been following my channel for a while knows that I still have Cayman 2014 981. A really nice car, but it feels a little how to say, it's artificial in terms of the steering. I guess that's because the steering rack is electric and not hydraulic, and so I recall when I had the same Cayman, just the basic one, I liked the steering really much. This is how the passenger side looks like, so I guess it's fairly presentable in terms of the wiring harness job. It's not bad at all. So I had this box, HVAC box, laying in my garage right there, and I was removing the wheels from this CLK Mercedes, and one wheel was stuck, and I thought I put a bolt to hold the wheel before I started to yank it, and looks like I didn't, or maybe I didn't put it, you know, deep enough, so the will fall right on this HVAC box. It's damaged the housing, and so this is the, I guess, cover from the bottom of the motor. This HVAC box is done. So I went ahead and purchased the replacement one on eBay. It recently came in the mail for me to find out this box came also damaged. It looks like my project is on the pause again, and it's a shame because this flap door has still intact, how it calls, the foam on it, which is notorious to be, you know, damaged and blown through the vents, and that's the reason I removed this box. I mean, originally to replace or to put some new foam on it. I'm not sure if you can barely see it because it's so sunny right now, but yeah. So now I got 2 damaged boxes, and I cannot even make 1 out of 2. Whew. It's gonna be new search for me again for the replacement box. So my project is on halt again. Despite just now I told you I got this damaged box delivered, I decided that I will try to fix it and try to put 1 good HVAC box out of those 2 broken ones. So this is the one that was delivered to me just recently, and as you can see, it's technically still have the good you know, flaps with all of the foam intact. Okay, so yeah, this is the second one, but most likely I'm not gonna use those in here. I will put the foam that I purchased from Amazon onto, you know, flaps that came in my original box. I'll take a few pictures just to see, or I'll take a few pictures so I knew how to route the wiring, because I'm gonna need to remove the wiring before I split the box. And since this box does not have any wiring, so I'm gonna need to transfer the wiring from this box onto the replacement one. I'm gonna use my what is it, evaporator or condenser? No, I think it's evaporator, because this one got 15,000 miles on it only. Same goes for the you know, heater core. I'm gonna reuse mine. I still have it somewhere in the box, well preserved, and that's it. Let's try to, you know, split it open. I'm gonna disconnect the wiring. I'm gonna take a few pictures. I'm gonna transfer this kind of duct from this box to another one, because the duct on this box completely damaged. It's like right there in pieces. This one is still intact. I think let's start from the sides. Temperature sensor. Oops. On this one, I think I need to remove this box. box removed, and yeah, now I can remove this connector. Okay, I'm gonna need the help of flathead screwdriver, I think, in order to disconnect those two connectors. Maybe the pick. Let's see. Is it possible? 1 and 2. Okay. This one removed. One, two. Removed. Okay. Wiring removed. Here we have our, let's see, okay, need to undo this bolt. And let's check. I think this motor didn't suffer, it's actually very clean. All right, so this gonna go to the other side. Okay, and let's try to split the case, starting from the bottom, I think. I know there are a few hidden screws. Looks like that's all from the, no, one more right here. And now quite a few screws from the top. And there is one very hidden screw right deep in this valley right here. You're gonna need a long extension. Okay. Okay. What else? Feel. Now I need to remove that thing. It's still sticky, so I would like to preserve it. I'm gonna reinstall it to the other box because it's, you know, very nice condition. What else? Okay, it's coming apart. Anything else? Don't know. Looks like more broken parts. looks like that's it. And this is our HVAC, what was it, evaporator. It's pretty tight. All right, it's gonna go to another box. So yeah, that's the condition of the foam, and yeah, most likely I'm gonna put a new foam on those and gonna reinstall them. I just went ahead and refoamed the, those metal pieces that we just removed with the foam like this. It's a 2-inch thick strip, or 2-inch wide strip, I would say. And let's see, hold a second. So this is how it looks now, and this is the comparison to the original. Looks like it's got, 2 pieces right here. Okay, it starts as the 1 piece on the original one, and then they cut it into the 2 pieces to accommodate this little step right here. So yes, I'm gonna be sticking with this one. Hopefully it's gonna hold off. I mean, it's gonna hold on just fine. The adhesive on the foam was pretty sticky, and so I got good hopes. And this foam is kind of from the different material than this foam. Hopefully it will not degrade same way as the original one is usually degrading. There is one more flap right here which has the foam, but I'm not sure if I will be doing anything with this one. This is pretty thick, probably like 7-8 millimeter foam. It's about a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch thick, and I don't have anything like that. And plus it got some kind of coating on the top, and again, I don't have anything like that. I will leave this flap intact like it is. I'm gonna put my original evaporator from the old box, from this box, into this one, and it's right here. I'm just gonna need to clean it from the pieces of foam right here. I'll probably use some compressed air and stuff. Yeah, it's got quite some pieces of foam here. So yeah, I'm gonna proceed with the reassembling of this HVAC box. So that's the finished product. I installed the wiring back, I installed this duct thing back, the motor, the blower motor, and pretty much I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna install it back to the car. And before I will looks like, yes, I'm missing one more bolt in here, so yeah, I need to put one more. Before I will button the interior in the car back together, I'm gonna need to check the HVAC system just to make sure this evaporator is still good, to be on the safe side, because I don't want to go into all those troubles to disassemble the whole thing again to get this HVAC box out, obviously. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do all the possible tests before I button up everything back.